When the Christ came to the earth, he chose to come to the earth not in a Ferrari, not in a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini or a Maserati or a designer sports car. He came with his traveling shoes. He came with his sandals. He came walking the long, hard road. When he came, he didn't come as one of the members of the elite class. He didn't come as one of the aristocratic class. He didn't come as a professor or a baron or a lord or a lady. He didn't come as one of those type of people. He didn't come as a celebrity. He didn't come as a pop star. He could have come as anything that he wanted to. But instead, he came as the son of a carpenter, the son of a working man, the son of a common man. He came as the progeny of common folk, of common stock, of common people. He wasn't one of these people that was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He was one of these people that was born into a life where he had to walk a tough and a long, hard road. He was one of those that knew that life was like a road with lots of signs. And as he traveled that road, he could have at any time, at any moment, at any point in his choosing, just decided to click his fingers, flick the switch, and grab a Ferrari, or a Lamborghini, or a Maserati. But that wasn't his choice. He chose the long, hard road, and he stayed the distance. This is my interpretation of the analogy of the Bible. The Bible we break down as an acronym. Basic instructions before leaving earth. The Bible we break down as an acronym, which gives us clear, concise, and basic instructions before leaving earth. Whether we leave from this plane into some other planetary dimension, whether we leave from this earth and we go into Halvala or the Hall of Judgment or Nirvana or to somewhere else, no one really knows. Nobody's ever come back from the other side and told us exactly what the other side consists of. So we have to use our intellect, our foresight, our insight, and our gut feelings and our spiritual senses to determine what our views and beliefs concerning the afterlife or after death actually involves. A lot of people believe that when you die, you're like a dead doornail, you're like a dead tree, you're like a dead rat, lifeless, motionless. All you are then is an empty shell, just an empty body, just a piece of flesh, dead, devoid of life, an inanimate object. Some people argue that that's how they view things and therefore they live for now. I live for now because I know there is no future, is their cry. Then there are others that say when you die, that's when you truly live, that's when you truly experience life. That's a little bit fatalistic in my opinion. When you die, nobody knows what happens, but we all have our own beliefs. Some people believe that when you die, you go through a process called reincarnation, where your body reincarnates itself back into the biological earth and matter, and your spirit reincarnates itself into some other form of spiritual and physical matter. And it can be reanimated. Your spirit can be reanimated. Your spirit is basically, essentially let loose upon the point of death. And many people have these out-of-body experiences or near-death experiences where they approach death, or when they died for a few seconds or minutes, they see themselves leaving their bodies. traveling through a tunnel of light, of ether. And then, as they regain consciousness, they find themselves back inside their body, and they wanted to be where they were before. At that place of harmony, that place of peace. But what was it that left the body? Was it just the imagination? Was it the mind? Was it the spirit? The ancient Egyptians used to believe in the Ka and the Ba, the Kaaba. And the Kaaba is what many Muslims worship when they go to Mecca. In fact, they all perform this spiraling, encircling motion around the Kaaba. It's called the Kaaba, and they see that as the black stone. But we see the Kaaba as the black soul. So the Kaaba, the Ka is the spirit, and the Ba is the soul. Sounds simple enough, right? And it's pretty simple. The Ka is the spirit, and the Ba is the soul. So we have a spirit and we have a soul. Many people, when they speak about soul or when they speak about spirit, they get confused. They intertwine the words, intertwine the definitions, mix them up, and that's what we do, because usually in life we don't talk about soul or spirit. We're too busy thinking about security, safety, immigration, jobs, food, clothing, shelter, bills to pay, vote to make, decisions to make, bank balances to fill, bills to pay. We're too busy with our everyday affairs and everyday matters. We're too busy concerned with worldly matters to consider aspects of the soul or aspects of the spirit. Many of us go through our lives without ever having spoken about spirit, or they've never spoken about the soul. Many of us go through lives without ever thinking about the spirit or thinking about the soul. What do you want to know about that for? I want to drink some beer and watch football. What do you want to do that for? I'm going to knock that guy out. I want to go and check this girl. We're all too busy thinking about our material condition. Well, I hope that with this little presentation, you can at least start thinking about some of these ideas, and at least start thinking about some of the differences and similarities between the soul and the spirit. The Ka is the spirit, and the Ba is the soul. Within the Bible, there are so many different translations of the Bible, and they all have their own particular twists for whatever particular reasons. But the Bible which I was given is called the King James Version of the Bible. And within that Bible, some people hold the King James Version of the Bible up to be the standard. But there are many discussions about the Bible, its efficacy, its legitimacy. But like I said, to begin, I believe that the Bible is a basic instruction before leaving earth. In the different versions of the Bibles, spirit and soul are often intertwined. They are often used in a manner which is basically traditionally interchangeable. Sometimes one speaks about the soul when deciding that the spirit, and when talking about the spirit, and sometimes people talk about the spirit when they're meaning that they're talking about the soul, or when they're deciding on the soul. And in the Bibles, the different versions of the Bibles all favor different interpretations of the spirit and of the soul. In some respects, soul and spirit are essentially the same thing. Here's an analogy about a car. The car can be likened to the car. The car can be the car. and the car will take us to a particular destination when we get in there. It could be a Ferrari, it could be a Mini, it could be a Ford Escort. Then the ba we will liken unto the petrol. So the petrol is the fuel, the ba is the fuel that we put inside the car to help us get to our destination. So that is like the spirit. So the petrol is like the spirit. And in fact, in many regards, petroleum is actually a highly flammable spirit. So the analogy, in some respects, does fit. So we have the ka and the ba. The ka is the car, and the ba is the spirit. One without the other is no good. One without the other is dead weight, is inanimate. Put them both together, then you have something. Then we have something. The ka and the ba, the car and the petrol. That's my analogy, to help people differentiate between the two.